What's the strangest conversation that you've ever overheard? My friend says he was once walking through the mall when he overheard an old man say "Ack. I haven't had real human pussy in so long. I'm concerned about what he has had." I used to drive Uber. I once picked up a guy and two girls from a house to drive to a restaurant. All of them were toasted. One girl appeared to be the guy's much younger girlfriend. The other girl was her friend. The girlfriend asked the other girl, "Oh my God. You know what I'm really looking forward to?" The friend answered, "The threesome." Without missing a beat, the girlfriend said, "No, the spring rolls, they are so good." All I could do was laugh to myself. It was in the bus. There were two guys. One of them had birthday that day. Their conversation was something like, "Dude, you're 35. What do you want to do in life?" "Well, I'm still at the university." "I don't know, bro. That's your 7th major. You need help." I'm still laughing about it. I wonder how much debt he must be in from that university addiction. That's dangerous stuff. Not every country has expensive education. Maybe that happened in Europe? True. University isn't expensive over here. Well, at least not life-ruining expensive. My 4-year course cost Maine $12K total. Ha! I knew it. You are most likely a fellow European? But $12K in total is still quite a sum. Of course. Not comparable to American standards. But still. I think I paid $350 in total the last 3 years, just uni-related. No other expenses included. On a plane. Sitting near a traveling baseball team of boys about 14-16-ish. No, dude. You don't understand. He's like the best chinchilla breeder in the country. It's always good to have a chinchilla plug. Not necessarily overheard. But when I was younger, I had neighbors that would sit in their car in their driveway with the car on for hours. They lived in their house alone. So it's not like they had kids or family to escape from. My mom eventually asked why they sat and talked in their car for hours and hours. The lady said, "So our dog can't hear us." Okay. Honestly, I think she had some sort of dementia and her husband just went along with it. I was going to guess hotboxing in the car. I worked as an Uber driver for a while and picked up a passenger who was speaking Italian loudly into his phone. Little did he know I studied in Florence for 4 years. So I understood most of what he was saying. At one point he uttered in a hushed tone, "I don't know what to do. The spoon is still stuck in my ass." Did he mention how he got the spoon in his ass? Million to one shot. Doc. In the parking lot of a grocery store I worked at. Kid saw a car with dealer tags on it. Kid, why doesn't daddy have tags that say dealer? Mom, 'cause he sells drugs, not cars. Assuming he a pharmacist. Walking through a market that is known to sell Santeria and witchcraft stuff, I overheard an old man asking someone to put a curse on someone who took his car by tricking him into signing some papers. Being tricked one time wasn't enough for him. One time at a Waffle House I overheard my waiter making a deal with a hooker at the table behind me. Standard Waffle House stuff. Those damn Waffle Houses. I was planning on bringing my kid to one, but now I'm not sure I'll have enough money to pay enough hookers for the both of us. I'm sure they must have a 1-for-2 offer. Working maintenance in a hospital. Shared an elevator with a new grandmother on her way out of the birthing wing and overheard her part of a cell phone call. "She's doing fine. Had a little boy. Baby's good, she's going to name him a JR when she figures out who the father is. Ah, that reminds me of my sister. In my ceramics class a few weeks ago, a few kids were talking about what happens to a single child when the parents divorce. They mentioned splitting the child like in half and got the whole class's attention right fast. Teacher included. Can't remember it exactly word for word. This was overheard on my college campus. I've since graduated. He took a shower. I have photographic evidence. Hard not to overhear. As it was two neighbors, a married couple we hadn't met yet, yelling at each other in the front yard of the house they were renting. Most of it was incomprehensible until my wife and I both heard. Clear as day. Wife. You went down on my mom. Husband. I don't ferment you complaining when I showed you how much she paid me. That was when my wife and I decided to go inside so they couldn't hear us laughing. Undefined. Ferment. Yeah, I got stuck there too. Probably not the weirdest conversation I've heard. But this question brought back a weird memory. Sophomore year of high school. A pair of girls were arguing on front of me. One of them was trying to convince the other that she should break up with her boyfriend since she deserved better. Since they were right in front of me, and were making no effort to be quiet or subtle, I heard the whole thing. Well, they realized that I was unintentionally following the conversation, turned around towards me, and asked my opinion as a third party. Was at the library studying. Heard a guy on the phone with his significant other say, "Yeah baby. I still love Sharnado." Almost apologetically too. Like she was accusing him otherwise. Plot twist: Sharnado is their kid. Only heard one part of this convo. But. Oh. You mean your cat? I thought we were talking about Nazis. I've got nothing. Jan 97. Was in the waiting room with an appointment with a psychiatrist as I'd experienced a kind of dark night of the soul, spiritual crisis of sorts. Long story. And I'm fine now. Little kid across from me sitting beside his dad. Takes a look at me. Then whispers to his dad it's him. Very unsettling. Kids in psychiatrist waiting rooms are creepy. I remember seeing a kid maybe 6 to 8 screaming at his mom that he wanted his nighttime medicine. Dude 1. Hey, do you think a penguin would taste like? Would it taste like chicken but cold? Dude 2. Curtis, are you okay? Did you hit your head or something? Dude 1. No, I'm fine. It's just something that keeps me up at night. This happened last year in my school's lunch line. I was standing in front of the two guys and it really got me thinking about what penguins might taste like. One would assume you'd cook the penguin and it wouldn't be cold then. But would it taste cold? Asking the real question. At a restaurant, a lady was on the phone talking loudly. I cannot recall the whole conversation, but one sentence still stands out to me. She said, "I swear to God, I hope I never see my kids alive in this world again. I have no clue as to why, but maybe they are better off if she doesn't. Tell mom hi for me." In high school. Skipping class, hanging out in the library. Another kid is doing work at the table next to mine and a couple of other dudes join him and start talking all together, and it's all so absurd that I have to strain myself to contain my laughter. I don't exactly remember how the conversation got to this point, but the first kid starts talking about his personality traits and concludes with something to the effect of, "Kid 1. That's why I'm a Pisces." Kid 2. What's a Pisces? Kid 3. I think it's a fish. Kid 2. You're a fish? I stopped being able to hold it in at that point. I was walking home from class one day and I overheard two girls talking. If a guy has good teeth, I'm going to beep him. Heard that and tuned out because I don't know where it came from and I don't know where it was headed, but I knew I didn't belong. Why? Because you don't have good teeth? Went to a Mexican restaurant once with my mom, and as soon as we sat down we just heard a woman very loudly go, "Honey, if you keep sleeping with your babysitters I will have to get you new ones." Did you see who the lady was with? No, the booths had tall backs so we couldn't see who said it or who then were with, but I would definitely like to know. My husband and I were in a booth at a restaurant and the booth behind us sat a young man, his girlfriend, and her parents. The boyfriend said, "I don't know if my lips are dry because I licked them too much or not enough." One time I was waiting at the dentist and I heard two women talking and it went like, "I just found out who was using my phone when I'm not around." How? I download a security app that takes pictures when someone tries to unlock my phone. Then she made a pause. "Dude, my phone is now full of pictures of my cat. My cat would like to sit on my phone since it was warmer than the counter. So I ended up with a few photos of its butt." I'm standing in line at the Best Buy Geek Squad counter to get my laptop fixed. And this lady in front of me has a number written on a piece of paper and she's asking the guy what it means. So he's asking her if it's a serial number, or a model number, or what, so he can get some context. And she refuses to answer. But she's getting more and more agitated. And insistent. And they go back and forth like that for a while. Finally she admits that she found it somewhere on her computer. And that she thinks the Chinese government put it there when they hacked her computer with the help of Bill Gates. Then she starts going on about how the government rigged her brother's car to crash. And poisoned her mother or something. After she's done the guy is just like, "Sorry, we can't help with that." This person on the bus across from us was having a conversation on the phone. Very lonely, so you couldn't help but hear. The conversation went something like this. "I'm on my way to the mall. What do you need?" Response from person on other side of phone. "A what?" Response. "Why again?" Lengthy response. "This is the fourth time, do you really need more?" Response. "Well, tell me what size bottle." Short response. "How much lube do you need?" And yes, you heard that correctly. This is the end of the post BTW. I'm hoping they were referring to lubricant for wheels or machinery. Like maybe the person was a competitive Hot Wheel car racer or something. Yes. You can lubricate Hot Wheel car axles. They go so much faster if you do that. Make sure it's powdered graphite lube though. When I was a waiter I would sometimes eavesdrop on conversations as I was walking by the tables. Not enough to really find out anything, but it was funny about 1% of the time. One time I walked by a table with two dudes just in time to hear one guy say "sure." The first time I saw a moose I got excited as well. On that one I actually stopped and looked at him. We all had a laugh. Moose are pretty exciting. Scary big. And exciting. Listen to mom talking to her mortified teen and her friends about her love of large black phalluses at a pizza restaurant. When I typed up phallus on the internet I thought it was going to be some sort of spot like a blackhead, and oh boy was I wrong. When I was like 14 I overheard two older boys on a bus talking about how they were terrified of going to the bathroom on planes because the toilets make a weird noise when it flushes. I thought it was the funniest speep ever back then. I quoted their conversation for years. It has been 7 years and I still remember it vividly. Wow. That really was a funny speep.